What's up, everybody? It's your girl Quisha from Put Your Phone Down podcast. Uh, so I just talked these young ladies' heads off, and I told them I would only need them for 30 minutes. So I'm going to apologize in advance because they have given me so much life. They didn't expect this intro, but all I have to say is manifestation is very real. When I saw these young ladies, on YouTube. That's where I found them. But come to find out, man, they've been doing the damn thing. Just they've been on top. Okay. So I'm like, okay, let me click play. The song Think of Me. I'm like, okay, well, think of you. That's me talking about me. Okay. I'm listening to it and I'm like, hold on. Why they making it seem like I can sing? So every morning, no lie, I would play this song and I was always acting like that was me singing. But it brought me back to my childhood, man, when I would see the Jet or In Vogue or the girl groups Jade. Shout out. And I had that feeling. I am introducing this wonderful band. I mean, when I tell you, you go get a chance to know them, but this is the female band, the new American soul artist, the Shindellas. What's up, ladies? So we got Stacy, we got Cassie, and we got Tam. And this equals out the Shindellas. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I seen y'all in the interview, and I don't know. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, because this is how we go get it jumping. You were saying the name was coming out, and you just thought of church, the name Shindo. And the first thing I thought was Shunda la la la, Shunda la. That's what I thought. So I was like, y'all, I heard y'all merged it together, played with it a little bit, and out came the Shindellas. Is that something true to
All right. Yeah. The word shindo is the word we use in the studio. It's exactly that. That feeling of like overwhelming, just excitement and inspiration, and you can't express it besides speaking in tongues. Shindo.
Yes, that's right. It's like that when you feel that come on, that's one of the first things you hear when you know it's getting real in the church. All you gotta hear is one. And
Yeah, feel it.
you
Feel it.
listen, you doing the bankhead bounce and everything. It's like, okay, it's on and popping. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm so thankful for your time. I mean, I know you guys are booked and busy. All right. So I'm telling the listeners and the viewers, like I said, I spotted you all YouTube, but as I tried my best to do the homework, I'm like, no, this is more than YouTube. You know, this is more than some chicks that just popped up on the scene. Okay, it's
Yeah.
been some work.
Yeah, we've been brewing.
It's been some work. So
We've been together going on 8 years.
see,
7 years. And yeah, it's definitely been a development the entire time. And each body of work we put out, it's like the more and more of us we're able to pour out, and the bigger our voices and our talents are growing,
And the vision.
and the bigger the vision
yeah.
is. Yeah, so it's definitely been brewing. I'm really appreciative that you see that.
yeah, I'm telling you, it's like as I talk to some of my guests, I always reference to how everybody believes, thanks to social media and that editing button, you can wake up Monday and have your dream by the end of the week. You know, this story, like you said, 8 years, and everybody is just now, well, not everybody, I'll put it on me. I'm just now catching on. It's like, this is what grind really looked like. And this is what I appreciate about you ladies. So we're gonna start from Chicago first. Can are you originally from Chicago? So can you can you tell me all about Chicago, and then we go circle our way around. But I need to see what's going on with Chicago. I saw a video of y'all listening to the song, catching it the first time being played on the radio. I want to say you was driving because the way you whipped that wheel, I said, yeah, that's Chicago.
I
With
was
one hand eating on something, I said, yeah, that's some Chicago stuff. So
yeah,
represent Chicago for
right.
yourself.
Absolutely. Chicago is such a beautiful city. It's so diverse. And there's all these little pockets of culture in Chicago. And my family is Jamaican. My mom and dad are from Jamaica. So I grew up in Chicago in a Jamaican culture neighborhood. So I grew up with family that spoke Jamaican. I had a Jamaican accent when I was little. And I listened to reggae music and went to carnival and traveled to Jamaica often to see family. And so Chicago was definitely an incubation space for me to definitely learn about my culture. And then when I was 15, my mom moved us away because Chicago was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, got real quick. She was
Yeah, yeah.
I witnessed a lot of crazy stuff. As a kid that I thought was normal. And then I look back at it and I'm like, wow, I saw a stabbing. Like,
Like,
wow, I saw somebody get shot in the neck. Wow. I witnessed like, I'm like, what the heck? This is too much.
yeah.
But I totally understand now why my mom was like, we got to get out of here. But for me at the time, I moved to a place. I moved when I was a junior. I moved to Florida, Ocala, Florida, where I ain't know nobody. I was cheer captain in Chicago, and I moved to Florida, and I couldn't even get on the team because of the timing, and I missed prom, and I was getting bullied, and like I was like, I hate this. I had already started making voiceovers, making money for myself at 15. I started my voiceover career, and I was doing jingles for commercials and radio's personalities. And Tom Joyner is huge in Chicago, so I worked for him for a couple years, or for a year, almost 2 years. When I was like, you know what, I'm moving. I'm going out on my own, Mom. I can't stay here. My mom, we were already struggling, so I was like, let me make this easier for you, Mom. Which I'd always done as a kid, try to make my mom's life easier. And I guess that was just my solution to just get myself out of her hands. And I moved back to Chicago on my own. And that's when I really dived into music, and I really discovered like how to express myself through music. I learned how to play the guitar. The north side of Chicago, there was a place called Joy Art Music. It was a Black family that owned this production company. They made music. They made jingles for commercials. They made productions from live music. They did like conventions for McDonald's. They did traveling, and we did cruises, performances, and they just really taught me how to be an entertainer, from writing songs and like all the way to performing them and releasing them. And I got a manager, and I released a single and was on tour a little, I was doing my thing out there. And it was just like, they gave me the strength and the courage to like spread my wings on my own. And that's kind of like my story before I met the Shindellas.
And see, it's like I love how you got that. You have a timeline to when you was like, I'm outgrowing something. I mean, shout out to Chicago. That's a few minutes away, but sometimes you can get stuck if you don't take that leap. So
Mhm.
that's starting with Stacy. And then I'm gonna move over here to Cassie.
Casey.
Casey, Lord Jesus, thank
Casey.
you for correcting me because I was acting real deep with it too. Casey,
uh,
please tell me what this adventure is from you because from what I can tell, you've been on pretty much a lot of stages. You've seen a lot of things. You've traveled a lot of different places. So, who were you as this little girl?
well, I'm originally from Seattle. I grew up in the suburbs outside of Seattle. I grew up in a mixed household, so in a predominantly white neighborhood. So the experience of being other was just a core part of my foundation, just being the different kid. And not only was I different because I was brown, I was just different because I was a little weirdo, into all this weird stuff, always doing voices, always wanting to dance, like, but also weirdly shy. So music and just listening to my parents' records, listening to the radio, also girl groups, listening to SWV and harmonizing with them, was my escape. And I didn't do it formally. We had some music in school, but mostly it was just me, and I had a little karaoke machine in my house. And I grew up watching movie musicals with my grandmother. And I remember seeing Dorothy Dandridge and Carmen Jones and being like, that. I want to be that, whatever that is.
Fine.
Fine as hell. And singing and dancing and acting and kissing Harry Belafonte.
Absolutely.
That's who I wanted to be.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
So after I graduated high school, I ended up at the University of Washington to study drama. But it's such a big school, and I was paying for it myself, and I wasn't getting to take any drama classes because it's just so hard. It's so hard to get into the classes you want in a school that's that big. And I was so depressed. I was deep in a depression, like a very real depression. And I would sit on my bed in my dorm and I would look at this live stream of UCLA. And I was like, look, it's sunny. Look at all the people in shorts. Everyone looks so happy. And so I started looking up programs in LA because I was like, I've got to get out of here. I'm just going to drown here. And so I signed up for a summer theater program at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I stayed in a frat house on a bunk bed with my friend Omar, who I've known since I was 4, and got into acting. And the class we took, the program was everything. It was dance, acting, on camera and on stage, and music. And it was the first time I'd had formal voice lessons. And I fell in love. I fell in love with being in LA. I fell in love with being around the energy of other people who were just going for something, just knew there was this thing. And so after the summer program ended, I went home and I was like, I'm moving to LA. And I left with $40 and no life skills, and just showed up, forgot my debit card, forgot all this stuff, was down there like, so what do you do now? And I just figured it out. There's a newspaper, and now it's online, but back then it was actual hard copy paper called Backstage West. And it has auditions for everything, for background singing, for bands, for movies, for commercial, for everything. And I just started going on auditions, and it's good because you learn to get a thick skin. And you also, if you're lucky, you have people in the room who will tell you what they liked and what they didn't like. And after a couple people gave me really good feedback, I was like, I need more education. Like, I need more learning if I need to understand this industry better. And I did some things, I did a lot of writing, a lot of singing, a lot of fringe theater. And then I went back to school to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, where I also focused on musical theater. And that's when I feel like my career really started, because right after I graduated, I started working. Actually, while I was still in school, I started working pretty consistently. I won an acting award for my role in the play Flying West by Pearl Cleage. I started getting little write-ups and things going on, and started getting calls to come audition for things, which was different for me. And I remember my voice teacher was like, I want you to go on 40 auditions, back to back to back. I don't care what they are. And afterwards, write down 3 things you did well and 3 things you need to improve on, and just go for it. And it just destigmatizes rejection, and it reframes it as opportunity. And so I really appreciate her. Shout out to Mary Omarosa. And from there, I just kept going. And I ended up working for Disney in Anaheim. And then I ended up working for Disney in Tokyo, singing in a jazz show. And while I was in Tokyo, I got back into writing and performing music of my own. After work, going into the city, going to these jazz clubs, going to open mics, playing with my Japanese musician friends. And then when I got back to LA, I was like, I can do this. I can pursue this. And I actually met Chuck Harmony, who introduced us, one of the guys who introduced us at a networking event for songwriters in LA. And so I don't know, it's been a journey. It's been a big journey of finding myself through art. But what I've always had is like this pulling inside of me. And that's always been my navigation system. I mean, call it what you want. For me, it's God. And that's what's kind of moved me through everything. And it's just so crazy to look back and be like, that girl, that 19-year-old with like $40 in a dream, now has a top 10 hit and is on a t-shirt.
Hey, okay.
You feel me?
I know that's right.
I love this because I see where this is going. I've heard 2 stories already. I can only imagine this is the order why it was chosen in this way. Because I feel like I'm seeing where this is going. It was just meant. This is one of those meant situations. And I'm like, okay, I feel like you're going to book in this, Tam. So
Oh, yeah.
Come through, Tam.
what's your story about? Okay, so we got Texas, you know, Seattle, Chicago. All right, that's a good mixture. You want to talk about music?
Yeah.
What you got? Go-go style of it. Okay, house music. Then you got Texas that's good for the bass and all that. So here we are, from what I understand. You said, you know what, I'm about to get on Instagram. I'm just about to sing my heart out. You know, I'm about to get shows, okay? I'm about to, somebody go hear me.
That's so
So
it's so cool.
you broke through the scene, but before that one, I always say that one yes moment, you know, we all looking for that. So before that one yes, because from what I understand, production doesn't always reach out. You know, I think I've seen that in the interview, like, no, they don't never reach out. So you, Miss Tam, what your story? How do we marry all of this together? Because there's a story behind this.
Well, I can say it was definitely divinely orchestrated. I got my start in the church. So I was raised in Wharton, Texas. They say everything is bigger in Texas, but Wharton was like literally maybe 6,000 people. But yeah, both my parents were ministers. My mom's side of the family was super musical. And so they discovered that I could sing at like 3 years old. And I didn't start publicly singing until I was 7. I did my first public performance with a cousin at a New Year's Eve celebration at our church. And from there, my mom was like, my baby can sing. I'm going to have her in everything. So she literally had me in everything. I was a gospel recording artist by 11 years old. I had like 2 other EPs that I did before I turned the age of 16 years old. And so she had me all over the country. I was in all of the gospel competitions. I did Showtime at the Apollo as like 11-year-old. I did like gospel conventions and conferences. I was winning awards, as a young gospel recording artist in Texas. And so that was really my foundation. And then at a point, I wanted to just kind of, chill out and pursue a higher education. And so I attended the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas, which is crazily enough was like the top music school when both my parents went there. And so that was still kind of in me. But I was like, I'm just going to focus on school. I just want to get my degree and, whatever. But then like the first semester that I was there at North Texas, I was like, okay, so I'm kind of bored. So I started just posting. I started a YouTube page and I started posting clips of myself singing on YouTube. And so it went from YouTube to
Vine?
there was Social Cam,
Yeah.
and Vine actually came in 2014. So after I graduated college, that was 2012. My dad reached out to me. He said, hey, The Voice is coming to Houston. I think you should audition. And so I was fresh out of college. I really didn't have a plan as to what I wanted to do after school. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I went to Houston, stood in that line. It was like thousands of people, made it all the way to the callbacks in LA. So I had like, it was like multiple callbacks. And so I made it all the way to top 20, season 5 with Team CeeLo. And after that, I was just like, okay, I'm at another crossroads. What do I want to do? Like, how do I want to, pursue this thing? And so I started working with local producers in Dallas and just trying to figure out my sound, trying to figure out what type of artist I wanted to be. What did I want to say to people? And I started posting clips of myself singing online. And then it was Vine. It went from Vine, and then it went to Instagram. And I had a good few of them go viral. And Claude Kelly, who is the second fellow who brought us together, he reached out to me after crossing one of those videos and said, hey, me and my business partner, Chuck Harmony, are working on something special. We would love for you to be a part. And so we had a conference call. Stace was on that call. At the time, I was working at a financial firm in Dallas. And I remember taking the conference call in the conference room at the job. And it was just something about it. I was just like, man, I feel like I want to be there. I want to see what this is really about. And so they ended up flying me out to Nashville, met the team, heard the vision, fell in love. And it was exactly in line with what it was that I wanted for myself, the type of artist that I wanted to be, the messaging, all of it, women empowerment. And I was like, I feel like this is where I need to be, especially to develop the artistry that I want to develop. And so I packed up my car January of 2017, and moved to Nashville and never looked back.
I knew this is where it was going, just the, this is the face, the three of you, of faith.
Yes.
Because I didn't hear, not saying that it didn't happen, but I didn't hear, oh, I had a cousin, oh, I looked up. It's more like that feeling, that pull that said, I know it looked crazy, but I'm going to just go.
Mm-hmm.
And it landed you in rooms that, people already knew who you were because you heard what you needed to hear to go, And so it has me, like I said, happy as a kid in the candy store to have you all on this podcast, because again, I think I'm set up wired like y'all. I have to listen to my gut. I got a few of them. I got like 3, but I listened to one of them. One of them real strong. Okay, just one of them. I got to choose which one, but baby, when one of them get to talking, I'm like, okay, but listening to your music, it does take me back to, man, one thing I can say is it allows me to use my imagination. It places love and crushes, that feeling all in one, So again, I grew up listening to music and listening for that one part of the song. Back then I had to press rewind. Or when things got advanced, it was a CD, but I still had to. But it would be one part in that song where I would play over and over and over because I would hear the passion or I would hear the pain, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you all have songs that go way before, Think of Me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know though, where were you and who helped you come up with Fear Has No Place? That right there is like, that's a song that you have to affirm. You don't even know that you're saying it. Earlier when we were talking, I was like, I spoke it, but I didn't know. You don't know that when you are listening to that track, it's some pain there. It's some church up in there. It's like the harmony, honestly, makes me close my eyes and think of old church house with mama tired, but she about to go ahead and speaking to you and say, look,
Mm-hmm.
fear has no place. You don't know what she going through, but she done got you by the shoulder at the church house, giving you a big head hug while you crying, you know.
Yes.
Let's talk. Can we talk about that song? Because if y'all don't know now, you know that brought something out of me. Like,
Oh,
you know, the David. I'm like, okay, Goliath, what's up?
I heard that. I love that.
So where were we
Yeah.
when we decided? I'm saying we, like I told y'all, I'm the fourth member.
Yes, ma'am.
So what space were we in when we went ahead and we belted out Fear Has No Place?
Mhm.
Woo! Yeah. We first have to mention Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly.
Yeah.
They are the writer and producer of that song. And
Okay, shout out.
yeah,
Mhm.
they're the ones who brought us together. And they are the ones who had the idea for the Shindellas. It was 2013. Everything was reality TV. Black women were fighting all the time, in competition all the time, and we weren't seeing Black women coming together in that time. I mean, it's grown since then, but at that point, it was just like, I don't see my cousin, I don't see my sisters. I got 4 sisters. I don't see them in anything that I'm doing. And so the guys were like, let's create they finally created a space where they can create outside of the music industry, which was important. And I feel like that's why we were able to create songs like Fear Has No Place, because we weren't thinking about what the industry needed or what people were doing was popular or anything like that. We were just freely making music. And I got to sit in and watch them create these songs with the Shindellas in mind before there was even Shindellas.
Mm.
Mhm.
So that's why I have to mention them, because they planted these seeds, brought us together, gave us like 5 songs, and was like, here you guys go. We'll help you build, but do with this. Blend.
Work it out.
Work it out. And we did. We have a space here in the studio. It's called the Hot Wiggle. It's our rehearsal space. It's a garage that I flipped into a studio. Like, it's got a dance floor and a mirror, and we got speakers and microphone, and just now we got in-ear monitors. We just got this whole setup for us to, spend time in there, not only to rehearse, but to just at the time when we first met, to get real with each other, honest with each other about what we wanted, our fears. We would cry, meditate, and pray together in that space. So that's like our incubation space. They put us in here. They gave us these songs, my little guitar. Let's sing these songs. And that's how we got to know each other. Fast forward to 2020. We were
3 years in.
We were 3 years in. We were dreaming so big. Another place here in the studio, we're at a workshop. This is where we are, our creative space, is our conference room that has a floor to ceiling, wall to wall vision board of, like you're saying, manifestations. And their faces were on the vision board before they were in the group. And I prayed and cried over that. And then when we got together, we added our vision. Then it was like Vogue was on there. Essence was on there. The Opry, which is a venue here, was on there. All these places we wanted to travel, what we wanted to wear, Sparkle Baby. We had jewelry, fashion on there. People we wanted to collaborate with. And that little space helped us to develop for the first 3 years. We gained our voice. We did a tour. Before we even recorded any songs, we were singing live together and like learning from our audience what songs were popping, what songs we should record, and like just how to like collaborate and connect with each other on stage and translate that into our music. So before we even recorded, 3 years in, we had like that part, and then 2020 happened and everything shut down. And our big vision board was like, and we like, remember we were trying to get a band together.
Yeah.
We were like,
We were
so
about to do auditions and everything.
auditions for a band, because we're Shindellas to the world. And then it was like, the world shut down. Go sit down somewhere. And we had a lot of time to think. We had a lot on top of the pandemic, COVID, Nashville had a tornado that hit us the week before. So we went out, worked with the foundation here and like bought all of this toilet paper and all this
Yeah, I
stuff.
donated. Oh
We
my
just gave
God.
them all of this stuff, just in our community to just show up for people. And then the shutdown happened and there was no toilet paper anywhere. And then there was the divisiveness of the police brutality that was happening, the murders that were happening. And here in Franklin, Tennessee, we could feel that. We are probably the 3 people in Franklin right now. You know what I'm saying?
Because I had never even heard of Franklin. I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, what's Franklin?
Franklin, Tennessee is south of Nashville. It's country. It is
Wealthy.
one of the wealthiest places because it's just like farms.
Old plantation money.
Yeah, I was
Old
gonna say
plantation.
it's actually
historical place.
It's Civil War territory.
Mhm.
If that
Okay.
So we here, you know what I'm saying? We're out here, and this is
Right.
just, actually, it feels safe. It feels beautiful. People aren't hateful here. But in that
It was
time,
so tense.
in that time, 2020, when all this stuff was happening, there was people dying, getting shot, and we just didn't feel safe. There was the threat of like what was happening. People were protecting their.
People were standing outside their shops with like shotguns and AKs and stuff because of this threat of Antifa coming. It was just so tense. Like, even I remember I had a job during that time and it was just, everyone was on guard. Everyone's just like waiting for somebody else to say the wrong thing or imply the wrong thing. It was just tense. And we had actually started to record Fear in 2019. The guys had written that hook a long time ago and it had a total reggae vibe. Like, it was so nice. We had started to record it in 2019. We knew we wanted it on our album, but I remember we were sitting at the Dell House, I think, our old apartment, and everyone was just terrified, genuinely scared. Hadn't seen our families, didn't know what was going on anywhere, people dying, family members dying. And we have a group chat that's called Don't Slam the Door, which more on that later, which is us and Louis York. And I texted the group chat and I was like, we need to release Fear. We need to release the song because we all needed it. And we were saying it to each other.
Yeah.
Fear has no place in my heart. No. Fear has no place. So, but that also meant we had to rewrite some of the lyrics. So we went in, all that you do is just lie and confuse me, but I'm here to tell you that we're not afraid. Those weren't the original lyrics. That was something we came back in because we needed something that really spoke to the moment. And when we each went in, we came in separately to record our solo vocals. And each of us had a breakthrough moment in that experience. But it was hard, it's hard singing a song that is so real in the moment. It's hard to sing Fear Has No Place in My Heart and believe it, to get over the fear. When Stacey was recording, it was the day her session got stopped because there were people outside with guns, not outside of our studio, but literally 2 blocks away. And someone called and was like, hey, you guys got to get out of there. So, yeah. And so she's recording, singing her heart out, and they're like, okay, we got to go because there's a physical threat. I was at work that same day and they were like, you got to get home. It was so scary. And so we finished it. We went in, we heard it. We were like, oh,
yeah.
We did that.
Yeah, hearing them sing, like I didn't get to hear their parts until afterwards. And it was just like, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then we just released, we got it done and released as fast as we could.
It's definitely that song. I feel like it's that song that finds you. You know how sometimes you have your go-to song that you play over and over. And then one day, somebody's back is against the wall and they're like, oh, let me press this. And it finds you because the words really do, like I said, they affirm. I don't care what type of, mental state you in. It feels like once you hear it, you can't help but it's catchy,
Mhm.
So I just wanted to put that out there and say I greatly appreciate music like that that makes me, like I said, I need to rewind that part. I,
Yeah.
I need to play that. No, better yet, let me send it to somebody because
Yeah.
that was a Shindella moment. I had a shundo, like
Hey, hey.
Mhm.
And what's
when
about
you're
that too?
singing songs such as Good as Gold, like you said, your number one, your top 10 Billboard last night, Good for My Soul.
Mhm.
Mhm.
When you up there singing, and like I said, y'all crossing a lot of stages and platforms and get your name out there. I'm seeing you backstage hugging Jill Scott and October London. Like you're in the building, but when you're out there singing, you know, um, good as gold, because your songs really do empower, inspire. But usually you might be considered the strong friends. You don't really get a chance to show that card, like I ain't feeling it, right? When you out there pretty much speaking into the people with singing songs like this, um, is it hard when you're not feeling that at that moment?
Mm.
Like we all have our moments, whatever they are. And you want to hype the crowd up and tell them like, look, last night was good for my soul.
Yeah.
In the back of your mind, you like, you know what? Screw everybody.
Yeah.
How do you keep that crowd going, knowing that you're fighting your own personal battles with those songs come on?
I think you use it.
Mhm.
It's this in any kind of performance, whether you're dancing, singing, acting, you're going to show up on the stage a different person every time, which is why live performance is so magical, because you're getting a once in a lifetime experience every time, even if it's the same set, the same singers, the same costumes, it doesn't matter. And so you have to learn to allow yourself to be vulnerable through the art and just use those feelings. So maybe one day I feel fabulous. I just got married. We're singing Good as Gold. And I'm like, everything's wonderful. And then another day I am depressed and questioning my purpose. And then I'm singing it to myself. I'm singing it to find my victory through the song.
Mhm.
And I mean, I can think of specific moments where I was not feeling it, like going through a lot, and fear has no place, getting to my part at the end and just being like,
Mhm.
Gets you
everyone's going to
through.
get it
Mhm.
because I have to get it,
Also, seeing the audience, they feed you. Like
Yeah.
seeing people who need to hear that,
Mhm.
you're good as gold. You can we did this tour at the top of the year, 22 cities with October London, and every single city we got to see them how they
Came alive.
experience the Shindellas for the first time. They're like, who are these ladies?
Mhm.
And they're like looking confused. And then it's like,
Mhm.
she just did that run. Okay.
Mhm.
And then it's like, oh, this beat is hot. Okay. Next thing you know, you just see them moving through that just like experience of realizing, oh my God, there's a girl group. They can sing. Oh my God, they dance. Oh, their songs are good. And it just becomes, you can see the joy at the end. And that part is so special. So that helps me to move through. Like, I just keep giving them what I think they need.
Mhm.
And the rest just works itself out.
Mhm. And then moving. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think also just moving with gratitude and just being grateful that you have this space to, or have this outlet to express yourself, because it gets really, really tough. All three of us can attest to that, but just moving through gratitude has been like my personal cornerstone.
I love that. Again, I mean, it's nothing that you haven't said that I'm not absorbing, because it's like, again, listening to the stories, listening to how y'all got to this point, we know it had to be some obstacles. The one that stood out, like you said, was 2020. My goodness, I think for the most part, and I'm going to just take everybody else and speak for myself, I didn't take it seriously When it came on the news, I was like, oh, okay. You know, I went about my day. I, at the time, was working with kids. And I had a party, a big old party right before they was breaking news was like, yeah, can't none of y'all come on out the house. Like, I mean, we turned up all the way.
You actually.
Okay. Ignorant. Right. And so
the drive for the
the pretty much the switch. For some, the switch came on. The others, the switch turned all the way off. What do we do in this time?
Yeah.
You know, and you guys had a baby. Like you said, you put the seeds together, released fear. And then how does it feel? I got to say, you guys are making history or made history, still making history with, and I got to look at my notes with this. You opened up the CMT with Lady A, but you are the first R&B band to do that?
Yeah. Can
we do one of these, like one of these little clap things, whatever? Listen, to have that crown placed on your heads with that, like that's history, y'all. That's history.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel knowing that you guys did that?
Amazing. Yeah.
So amazing. That was honestly such a magical day. And we honestly didn't know we were making history when we did it. It wasn't until after the fact, but it felt like such a monumental day because it was also the same day of our very first headlining show here in Nashville. So we literally went from that CMT stage, which was incredible. I mean, pyro. I mean, we're up there in our colorful fits
in an arena,
tens
of thousands of people.
I mean, it was crazy. And of course, it was like, you know, we were all like, the music industry was kind of in that space where we were kind of trying to like bring it back because it was 2021. So we were like, all right, we can do this, but you know, there's all these parameters in place. But when I tell you, we were such troopers and we were such professionals and we got that job done. And then we literally had to race over, change and race over to exit in for our sold out headlining show here in Nashville. So it was just like, it was so magical. It was like meant to be. And we were so grateful to Lady A because they were so gracious and so wonderful. And yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And y'all still kicking in the doors. I mean, then you got Last Night Was Good for My Soul. Listen, I keep telling y'all, I'm singing just for y'all to be like, hey, Quisha, you wanna sing? Beautiful. Not only, you know, is it video of you all hearing it for the first time, but you know, on the Billboard, you charting. Just, you know, I can only imagine how it feels to know that you all didn't grow up together. This is not a Jackson 5 story. You know, this is three women on all different sides of the world with a vision, you know, and then once the vision comes together, it's still some obstacles. But when you see the hard work, like you can see yourselves on the Billboard. Hey, you can say Google me now, you know, or you could go on YouTube and, like me, see all these things that you all have accomplished. How does this make you feel with a song like that, honey?
It's amazing. And especially because that song, when we released Hits That Stick Like Grits, our debut album, it was really speaking to the times. It was COVID, everyone was struggling, and it was a strong album. It's like, I mean, everything we do is message heavy, but it was just a ferocious album. And we were in this place where we wanted to still have our mantra music, but we just wanted to create things that could bring people together. Like something you play at the barbecue, the roller rink, something you could put on before you go out with your girls, something where everyone has their like, hey, you know, we're all like, nah. Like we're all in it together. It's a real group. It's really fun. And to have it be our first kind of single that is like that, but I feel like it really represents us too. Like when we're cutting up, like when we're just in our homegirl bag, that's what it's like. Yeah. We're just dumb. And so to have it be that song that was the first to kind of make that impact felt amazing. And also to know that Like I got a text yesterday of someone who heard it at they were at TJ Maxx, you know, and to know friends of mine who are parents, they're like, thank you, thank you, thank you for having a song that I can dance to and love, but I don't have to worry about playing in front of my kids. Like I love that it's a universal song, like the music my daddy listened to. So it feels good.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all really are. That's the thing. Like, y'all really are. When I'm listening to, like I said, off camera, I'm listening to songs I know for me, okay, but it's still kid friendly where you don't find yourself smacking your child in the mouth, you know. So, you know, you got your barbecue and body rolls. You got that, hey, you know. Then it's think of me too. All right, so both videos, ladies, think of me, original, hello, snatch all up and down, walking the streets, hello.
Yes, that was
Okay.
directed by us. I'm so proud of that video.
And then you got think of me too.
Mhm.
A little throwback because you got Q from 112, which is another comes from a band, you know. So I need to know how this song started because the first few lines, man, it speaks the truth. You
Right.
said nothing else. The first few lines when you singing that, and then I don't know, again, the song makes me think of when I'm young and I'm like, oh, you putting your name next to their last name. It just kind of gives that, you know. Um,
Yes.
so I need to know who's responsible for the original and who got Q on because you murdered that. It was already dead. I'm like, how do you do this again? So how do we get to this song right here?
Shout out Chuck and Claude. They wrote this song a long time ago.
Ooh.
I heard it and I never forgot it. And they have a lot of songs like that, actually. So I be trying to steal all their songs because I'm like, oh, this would be great. And we've stolen their songs before. We're not stolen, they give it to us. But I'm like, we're like, we can sing that. We could really, and I love to, like, the best thing is when you create a song and then you release it. Like there's so many songs that are created that aren't released, don't even get like little daylight. You know what I mean? Like there's so many beautiful songs. And that was one of them. I never forgot it. And when we were creating this album, we wanted to just make sure that we had that feeling that you're talking about, that classic R&B love song with the melody and the modulation and the, you know, just that feel good song. So I brought it up and I was just like, we should sing. I think I just start singing it.
You literally were like, what about Think of Me? And they were like, what? We were at Disney World. We were doing a performance for the Disney Dreamers Academy, waiting for our shuttle to pick us up. Because we were talking about what we needed on the record. And Stacey was like, what about Think of Me? And they were like, what song? And she was like, No One Never. And just fully belted it out, sitting in front of the resort. And they were like, yeah, that is a good song. And they were like, okay. And then the rest is history.
Recorded it, cried. Like I cried. That kind of singing, I mean, it was really beautiful. It was really emotional. And I just love singing like that. I really enjoyed singing like that.
It's true. You listen, I'm not saying this because you all sang your patooties off. I'm not saying this because you have graced me with your talent for over 30 minutes. I apologize. What I'm saying is, I'm saying this because I did grow up again in a time where music, I had to guess what it was saying. Some songs I ain't catch on to, I swear, till I was like 20, but I would be bumping it because it was innocent, you know, and it didn't give me a complete visual. So when you have these songs and you're promoting Think of Me, you know, you're not saying, I mean, you know, we grown, but you're not saying it in a sexual way. You're like, look, if I'm not there, think about the kissing, me holding you, but it was never sexualized, like, because you go get it tonight, it's
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
and it does take you back to that little Quisha, little Big Ten little self. I was big little. I was a big little girl, but it was, so my big little self will be this is the song I would play and
Yeah.
be like jotting down names and stuff.
Mhm.
So this is what it did. It definitely brought it. So
That's what
with
happened
that,
to you.
huh?
That's what happened to Q. He heard the original, well, he heard our first release and he knows Claude. So he was just like, he called him, or he knows Chuck. Was it Chuck?
Yeah,
Yeah, he knows
Chuck.
Chuck. And he called Chuck and was like, send me that song. I need to be on this song. I need to sing this song.
Send me the instrumental.
Send me the instrumental. I love this song so much. And not even 2 days later, he recorded it and sent it back. And he was like, I just want to be a feature with the girls. Like, I won't change any of the lyrics. I don't want to, like, this is not about publishing or anything like that. This is just a great song and I love singing it. So I just want to sing on this song. We were honored,
Yes.
shocked. And like, he just made it so beautiful and like a whole nother classic R&B vibe, like that duet of a beautiful male vocalist. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. He just
that song seriously is up there with some wedding songs. I know it has to be. I just know it. I also know that you girls have, or ladies, women, beautiful, talented women, you have so much more in store that, I didn't get a chance to cover, but I did want to just put you all out here on my platform so you all can just let people know, it's not the race. You just go and you hear it for yourself, The fact that you all didn't shy away with the obstacles was exactly what I have been praying for, It's your story to tell, but what I really love is the ugly. I tell people that all the time. I seen you when you was cute, but baby, when you can come out with this off and these, and you are telling the ugly side of your story that, look, it wasn't always easy. What I see in the Shindellas is that it's worth it, and so you have so many stages, huh?
Why are you trying to make me cry?
Girl, you better cry, honey. No, I did mention that I was going to speak into you all, and I want to do this while I have you on the platform. Like I said, you all honestly are the face of faith. I don't know any of you personally, but I definitely feel it in my spirit to say, your hard work is paying off, honey. I mean, your name is in these rooms, and all you got to do is enter it, but you all have earned every last bit of it, every no, every, I'll get back to y'all later, and they don't, the Hollywood talk. All of you all sound like you had to learn the hard part first, the rejection first. You put a pretty face to it, but it was still like, damn, I wanted that role, or damn, I studied for that part. Only for God to say, I'm going to send 3 of y'all. You don't have to enter those rooms by yourself. I'm going to give you some people you can trust and make some things happen, And so I want to get the names right because I know that you did mention them. And when I Googled, I said, okay, so we got Chuck Harmony, Clyde Kelly. Man, when I see you guys are on the roster of Bruno Mars, Miley Cyrus, Neo,
Whitney Houston,
Nippy. Come on.
Celine Dion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Shindellas.
Yeah.
So where can we find you? Like I said, I am a forever fan. It was a lot of name droppings of songs that I wanted to get into and and you, Stacy, playing that guitar. I am going to put it out here. I would love, now that we friends and I'm the fourth member,
Of course.
we go hold that announcement later. But I would love to have y'all back. But in the meantime, can we tell people who are listening where they can find you ladies at?
Yes. We are at the Shindellas, SHINDELLAS, on all social platforms.
Yes.
We have 3 records out. Our very first EP, Genesis, our debut album, Hits That Stick Like Grits, and right now, popping on the charts, Shindo. Buy it, stream it,
Yes.
add it to your playlist, tell a friend, tell your friend to tell a friend, tell your mama, tell everybody.
Yes, and go to theshindellas.com to join our mailing list so you can stay in the loop and on top of all things Shindella.
And don't forget, when it gets hard for you, here's what I want you to do. Think of me kissing you. Think of me holding you in my arms. Think of me missing you. Every day that we're apart, know that I'm loving you. Baby, you'll always be in my heart. There's nowhere in the world I'd rather be. So think of the Shindellas.
Yes.
Now that you got me crying and singing.
See, I can't even get mine out because I'm about to cry. That's not right, Stacy. I'm supposed to be closing out. Okay. That wasn't right. That wasn't right. I want to take our time to thank y'all so much for being a part of this journey. I think 2020 was an eye opener for a lot of people who chose to listen, and nobody came out the same. I included. 2020 is when I got started on the podcast, but I didn't get serious about it. And so the Lord had to put me back in the ringer and was like, okay, so what you gonna do? Then I had to show him consistency. And once I showed him consistency, then he had to rip the Band-Aid off and let me know who was actually for me. Those are the stages you have to go through. So when the world opened back up, I was like, I'm ready for this. Like I told you all, I casted my net. I don't have but one platform. That's Facebook. My thought process was my people will find me. I don't, a lot of people was against it. Oh, you should have this spot, this platform, this platform. I prayed. I got a Facebook. And it has worked out fabulously because I have the Shindellas on my platform.
Yes.
So the word of the day is consistency and obedience, and God will place you right where you need to be at the appointed time. Don't give up. And it's okay to part away from home. It's okay to part away from those friends. If they have the same passion, they'll be right there with you, or the room next door, somewhere in the vicinity, right? But these young ladies have showed you what it's like to thug it out. We got Seattle, Chicago, and Texas. This is God. That's it.
And
So I want to thank the Shindellas one more time for being a part of Put Your Phone Down podcast. Listeners, I want to thank you for the experience. You follow these young ladies wherever. Go on YouTube and like all their videos. Go on their Facebook and share all of their shits. And I do curse. I'm so sorry, ladies, but share it all, okay? And let them know that the Shindellas is here to stay.
Yeah,
Fear has no place in your heart. If you don't believe me, You listen to the Shindellas.
Mhm.
Thank
Right.
you. I'm your host, Quisha. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
listening to
Keisha.
Put Your Phone Down podcast. Ladies, thank you
Thank
Thank
so
you.
you.
much.
We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mwah.